Oh, it's a beautiful day. It's time to work on some Corvettes.
Okay, let's try something different.
First, I'm gonna give you a little tour of the new shop. So recently purchased this place in January, and life has been crazy with the pandemic and everything. Summer starting, family activities and whatnot. But let's give you a quick tour here. So here's the Corvettes we'll be working on today. Here's the house and whatnot, and I got an extra shed. But the real reason about this place, right here. So this is a 30 by 50 pole barn. It does have a slab in it already and electric. One of the first things I did, as you can probably see, is these ever so popular folding LED lights. These things made a ginormous difference in the lighting in here versus the halogen bulbs that were in here before. There will be a spot for heat, and it will be insulated. And there's the motorcycle we took a nice 300-mile ride on yesterday. A little sore from that still, but it was fun. So nothing crazy yet, just kind of getting things set up. There will be a hoist, and I will be getting a hoist in here and whatnot, some new shelving. I mean, I literally in the last couple weeks have been able to finally get things organized, drum set for, when I'm bored. But some of the plans are, so I got in touch with the contractor and a truss company. We're gonna redo the trusses in here because I'm sure some of you have noticed sidewalls are only 10 feet, which causes a problem because you need 12 feet, give or take a few inches, most two-post hoists for automotive lifts. So we found a way around that. What we're gonna do is 25 feet, so half the depth of this, we're going to remove the existing trusses and put in what they call a scissor type truss. That will allow me to gain the 12 feet that I need for the hoist that I'm gonna put in. And then the real fun begins. Then we can do all kinds of fun projects, which there will be more. I have projects for this Subaru here, which is mine and has been broke for a while, doing Subaru things. This car made 540 horsepower last time it ran, and the turbo actually, you can see, is missing. Is what failed. At Power Cruise a couple of years ago, I believe 2018 that was. So it's been sitting for a little while. It's a great car, super clean. Only 46,000 miles on this thing. I've owned it since 16,000. Very dirty. Very dirty. Sad to see this way, but we'll live again. Will be one of the projects we'll have on this channel, probably more towards the winter time. Things slow down. Also, that motor will be another project. We'll be going in a drift truck I acquired here real recently. Just haven't quite acquired it on my property yet. And then I got like long tube headers from IC7, the blue one out here. And some other random things we'll be doing with some friends, some other groups in town and whatnot. But we are gonna get to work on the white one here. That's the the 99. We're gonna be doing the AC compressor and customer supplied AC compressor. I just went and got the water pump gaskets and stuff. That was a B. So we're gonna pull this bad boy in on what we're using now, the quick jacks, which I'll show you real quick. These things are really slick. Forgot about those. Safer than jack stands. These are the 5,000 pound ones I got from Quick Jack directly. These things do work awesome. They're a little beat up because, as you can see, I use them. I use them quite a bit. I've taken them to the track. I do a lot of customer work with them. And then you have the pump unit. This is the 110 direct plug-in unit, not the DC conversion one. You can get that though on their website. And then this Stanley case actually holds a lot of this stuff perfect. That pump unit, the hoses, the control, all fit in there, and it's nice for when you like travel to the track or something. So that's what we're gonna use to lift this to make this job a little bit easier. All right, guys, so we got the car positioned where we're gonna be working on it with the quick jacks. So, and as most people with Corvettes know, there is a special spot you have to lift with these. And typically you would use like a little hockey puck type device that they slide up into the frame and you twist to lock in. I actually have a really nice set of anodized one from CorvetteMods.com that I use on my C7 when I'm working on a hoist at work or wherever. But until I get the hoist in here, these come with a nice rubber block, as I'll show you. So those rubber blocks, you can position those on the frame where they need to be, and then that lifts the car safely. Now we're going to take the belts off so we don't contaminate them with coolant. And then we're going to drain the coolant and then start removing the water pump. So. Alright guys, we have the compressor unbolted, and I kind of have it at an angle where you can kind of see why you need to take that water pump off to get that bad boy out of there. It is just a meaty compressor, and you know, these cars are kind of tight. So, alright guys, we got the compressor out of the car, and as you can see, there's dye in the system, and it looks like the backside here was probably where it was leaking. And I believe he told me too from this seam here, which is typically where you'll see these things leak, especially when they sit a long time, don't get used. These compressors were known for that. So alright guys, as you've seen, we have the compressor out. I just want to show you a couple things to just note on this. One silly thing I forgot, which most people I assume would know, is there obviously is an electrical connector you have to unhook when you do this. You know, here's the new one. And so there's 4 bolts. I took the wheel off, the passenger side wheel, to get to these bottom 2, 15 mil, just a little bit easier. And then the top 2 is another 15 mil bolt here. Then this one is a stud with a 15 mil nut on it. And when I was saying you have to leave these in to take them out, because you can't, this will hit the fender well here, you can't get this out. Same with this one. So you leave these in like this as you're pulling it out, and when you put it in, you got to put these bolts in. This is a 7mm here. And you just thread this in like a regular bolt, and then you put the nut on to tighten it down, tighten the bottom 2, and then you're good to go. Plug in your electrical connection, and then we'll charge this thing up. So I'm going to skip ahead and just get this thing put back together with the new compressor in, and then I'll show you guys how to charge the system with a at-home manifold gauge set and a tank of R134 refrigerant. So I'm going to get this thing put in, and then we'll cut to that scene. Alright guys, as you can see, everything's put back together. We got the compressor and water pump and all the belts back on. So now we got our manifold gauges here. These are your AC gauges for checking your pressures. You can also charge your system. We got our keg of R134 Freon. There's a couple ways to do this. This is one way. You can take it to a shop and have it professionally done, but it's usually very expensive. Or you can buy those kits where you would just hook it into the low pressure line, which is right there on this car. So we're gonna fire it up, and then we're gonna open the low side, and that side will suck in the Freon. We already topped our coolant off, so that's good. So I'm gonna open up this valve, and as you can see, Freon's now being pulled into the system. And you'll see the high side pressure go up as you do this. And a typical rule of thumb on a non-high humidity day, so like a day like today, it's about 70 degrees. So you want about 2.5 times of ambient air temperature on your high side, and that's when you know you're full. So it'd be 140 would be double. So we probably want to see about that 210 range, somewhere in that area. So once we get to that, we'll know that the system is full. I'm just going to make sure the AC is on. So checking for cold air. We also want to put this on max AC. Push your research button here, that's max AC. So turn that on, turn it to cool. You hear the compressor clutch just kicked on, so now it'll start drawing in more Freon. At first the tank has pressure in it, it will pressurize the system. This will take a little bit of time. As the compressor runs, this gauge will go up, the high side gauge here. And like I said, we want probably about 210 on this one. About 180 to 210. See there, it's climbing up pretty quick. You hear the compressors pulling in that Freon. And, you know, and if you're a little high or a little low, it's not going to hurt anything. Once you start getting cold air in, we're a little high, so I'm going to close this valve and we're going to watch to see what our low side does. This should drop down to about 30. And that's typically about the temperature you're going to get out the vents, is what this gauge is going to reflect if the system is operating properly. So now you can see on our high side we dropped a little more, so we're going to open that low side valve back up. We're going to draw a little more Freon in. And I'm just going to check, but I bet we have cold air by now. And we do. Yep, definitely have cool air, air-conditioned air coming out of the vents. So we'll draw a little bit more Freon in. You know, you can get a scale too and measure this, but this is I've done this way for years, and it works good. Whew. Yeah, that air will keep you cold. All right, so we just got back from the test drive. We're just gonna double check the coolant level real quick, just to make sure that that's good. We did let it run and burp the coolant there, but we're just gonna double check after the test drive, and it is good. Yep, you can see there the level's good. We just rinsed everything off quick, the Freon and coolant, before we went and drove it. No noises, no leaks. So we're good. Now this customer will have nice cold air conditioning for the rest of the summer and many more. All right guys, that wraps it up for our C5 AC compressor install. That job went pretty well. It typically takes about 2.5 hours or so. With the filming, it obviously takes a little bit longer. So be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. We'll be doing many more videos like this. Maybe put in the comments what you would like to do to your Corvette that you would like help with. We'll also be doing like track prep and some other things like that as I race and autocross my C7 Corvette. We'll be doing a video on all the mods that I've done on that car in a future video. The drift truck, like I spoke of earlier, we'll have that project once the shop gets more organized. And we'll even get something like this 66 over here that you can see in the frame. We get projects like that every once in a while too that customers bring to me. So, all right guys, till the next video, we will see you then.